My presentation will cover an overview of investment climate and opportunity in Tanzania. My name is Lyimo, Acting Director for Investment Promotion from Tanzania Investment Center. My presentation will cover an introduction, economic overview, Tanzania investment trends, why invest in Tanzania, investments incentive, and I will highlight on investment opportunities which are available. Tanzania aims to become an industrialized economy and a logistic hub, and we are planning to become a semi-industrialized country by 2025. But based on the World Bank categorization as a middle-income country, we have achieved the status 5 years ahead of the country's schedule. So TIC, given mandated by the government to champion the industrialization agenda of the country by facilitating investors to establish manufacturing projects, but also other sectors. Tanzania Investment Center is a one-stop agency for investment in Tanzania, and is being given mandated to promote, coordinate, and facilitate investors in Tanzania, but also to advise government on investment matter and policy issues regarding investment. And how are we serve investors in Tanzania? Our service based on the one-stop model. As you can see, we have a number. As you can see, we have a number of government institutions which are located at Tanzania investment centers to provide and assist investors on different licenses and permits which are required for them to start business in Tanzania, but also assist investors in getting different sectorial approval. So we have numbers of institutions in the one-stop center, but also we have zonal offices in different regions in Tanzania. And most of the services which we provide, we have simplified procedures, and at the moment, registration for certificates of incentives have been changed to you can apply online, so that investors can get the registration wherever they are. But on the issue of the working permit and resident permits, at the moment, investors can be able to access just one card, and all that information include working permit and resident permits. I will pinpoint on the trend and forecast of the GDP growth per capita, as Tanzania is experiencing a sustainable economic growth, with the GDP consistently growing at the average of 7% per annum for the last 10 years. And this is a result of the economic reforms and sound economic policies that were introduced in the country. So we welcome investors to invest in our country due to the stable economy that the country has. Talking about the COVID-19, I would like to refer to the report which have been shared by the Africa Development Bank. And despite that COVID-19, Tanzania has the highest projection of the GDP, as you can see, 5.2% compared to other countries. So regardless that there was a COVID-19, but also the country economy was still stable. So why should someone think about investing in Tanzania? As you can see, our country has the most favorable ecosystem, and we have peace and political stability in the country for so many years. But also our economy is stable, as I've already explained in the previous slide, but we are rich of natural resources, starting with the arable land which we have, specifically on agriculture. We have more than 44 million hectares of land which is conducive for agriculture. but we also have natural gas, extractive industries, tourist destination, and we have a cheap labor force. I will also pinpoint on the investment guarantee. Tanzania is a member of different multilateral guarantee, but also we have signatory with other different countries through bilateral investment treaties. But also investors can think about our geographic location. Our location is very strategic. Tanzania is accessible through Indian Ocean, which give its trade links with Asia, but also sit in between 6 landlocked countries. But also we have 3 major ports and 3 airports. And we also have an opportunity for the market. Access of market easy when you invest in Tanzania. Tanzania enjoy preferential trade agreements by virtue of being a member of East Africa and SADC. So investing in Tanzania, therefore, provide an advantage and opportunity to access local, regional, and international market. I will look on investment category. We have a different category for investment in Tanzania. We have normal investors, whereby the minimum threshold for investors to invest in Tanzania for local is $100,000 US, and for foreigner the minimum threshold is $500,000 US. But for strategic investors, the minimum capital required for a foreign investor is $50 million US, and the local investor is $20 million US. But also we have the category for a special strategic investor, whereby the minimum capital required is $300 million US. And when I'm talking about the thresholds, it includes the value of the land itself, working capital, and the RCs. And as I've mentioned in the previous slide, that we also categorize investors from normal to strategic investor. We have some criteria for strategic investors. We look on the capital invested based on the threshold, which I've already explained, but also the contribution of the project in terms of employment creation. We also look on the new and innovative technology that the project will bring to the country, but the extent to which the projects bring to their export earning. But also we look on the location of the project, specifically for those which are located in a disadvantageous area or in a special economic zone. And maybe in addition to the strategic investor, these investors get additional benefits compared to the normal investors. We have a number of investment incentives available in Tanzania, and we have fiscal incentives and non-fiscal incentives. The previous presenter have mentioned some of the incentives, so I will be brief on the fiscal incentive which is available. We have an exemption for the project capital goods, and also we have tax relief on the deemed capital goods. And the import duty is exempted by 75%, so investors are required to pay 25% for the deemed capital good. And we have the reduction in corporate tax, 20% for manufacturing of pharmaceuticals and textile or leather products, but also the reduction of 10% corporate tax for the first 5 consecutive years in assemblies of motor vehicles, tractors, fishing boats, and other boats. But the list is endless, and we are ready to provide for other sectors too. Capital allowance ranging from different sectors, as can shown there. And we also have non-fiscal incentives, whereby the first one is how we service investors through one-stop center, but also we provide a soft landing for investors to invest in Tanzania by giving 5 expatriates during the implementation. during the startup process. So based on the nature of the project, investors can be able to have more expatriates depending on the nature of the project. But also there is unconditional transferability of funds, whereby transfer of fund is allowed through authorized bank after investors have paid all the required taxes. I understand that we have heard a lot about tourism since yesterday, but coming from investment promotion agents, I have to pinpoint all the other sectors which we want investors to invest in. I will start with pharmaceuticals, but our population growth rate is 2.7, and this is a huge number for investors who are looking on the population criteria. And the imports per annum ranging from 85 to 94%. But also we use foreign currency annually ranging from 0.8 to 1 billion. So there is a huge demand, and both for the local market and the regional as a whole. We have a lot of investment opportunity in this area, specifically on the manufacturing of medicine, medical supplies, laboratories, institution, training institutions specifically for the industrial pharmacist is needed. So we welcome investors to come and invest in this area. I will also pinpoint on the edible oil. As you can see, the current gap is around 400,000 tons, and the forecast is huge. It's around 700,000 tons by 2030. So there is a demand for more projects in this area. The opportunities are ranging from the large-scale farming of oilseed to address these supply gaps which I've mentioned, but also establishment of the oilseed processing facilities and refinery is needed. So we welcome investors to come and invest in these areas. Thank you, IT. We also have an investment opportunity in automotive industry, and we invite investors specifically in assembling plant, but also installation of manufacturing facility. But also we have a number of projects, as mentioned by the previous presenter, on the revamping of other projects, and we are happy to share the detailed information concerning the projects which required joint venture. We also have an opportunity in cotton and textiles. As you can see, 80% of the produced cotton exported in a raw form. And we have opportunity for the whole value chain from the field to factory. So we also encourage investors to think about investing in this area, and you'll be ready to provide more detail concerning this sector. Sugar production, as you can see, we have deficit of sugar in the country, more than 300,000 tons is a gap, demand gap, which is available at the moment. So we encourage investors to come and invest in sugar farming and factory. TIC working closely with different government authority so that we set land specifically for enable this kind of investment to happen. So we also invite investors in this area. We also have opportunities in livestock and leather industry. As you know, Tanzania is the second largest investor in largest livestock in Africa, and there is a huge opportunity in this sector, starting from raising and fattering, live animal trading, slaughtering, meat processing, leather processing, retail, and marketing. As you can see, the projected demand for the local meat is increasing, and there is an estimated projection of more than 200% up to 2030, as you can see. We also invite investors in fish and aquaculture. And as you can see, our coastline is long from the north to south of Tanzania, around 1.4 to 4 kilometers. So we have an investment opportunity in fishing port and fishing in the exclusive economic zone, opportunity in fish processing and fish boats, commercial fish farming, marines, and in the fresh water. So we also invite investors in this area. Tanzania is rich with different kinds of minerals and gemstones, and is the sectors which contribute a lot to the export earning of the country. There is a huge demand for mineral processing in the country, so we also invite investors to come and invest in this sector. There is a number of projects specifically in economic development in Tanzania, ranging from the railway to airport and port. So investors are assured of the network that we have in the country, but also based on our strategic location, as I've mentioned before, the networking and connectivity is a key. So we invite investors specifically in the airport, rail, port, construction, and rehabilitation project. And most of this project is in PPP arrangement. So we are ready to help investors to come and get more information concerning on how to invest in this area. But we also have opportunity in power generation using hydro, natural gas, coal, and other, but also the inland container depot and extended railway line is also available. We also have investment opportunity in real estate and commercial building, and you can see the rate of the population, which I've already mentioned, but also there is a demand for the modern houses and commercial buildings. So we have the range of opportunities, as you can see, from housing, estate, residential apartment, office building, and other. I will stick on the industrial park. However, the government has put emphasis on the promotion and facilitation of the development of industrial park, but we also set aside some land which specifically will cater for the industrial park for the mixed product based on the region, forest product in Iringa, sugar and cooking oil in the central part of Tanzania in Singida and Dodoma. So we encourage investors to come and invest in that area. Yeah, now I'm coming to the tourism sector. We have heard a lot about tourism since yesterday, so I'm not going to give the status of the sector and whatever, but this is another sector that offer the plenty of investment opportunities. It is a fast-growing sector in the country, and it contributes about 25% of the export and 17% of the GDP. So Tanzania is the only country in the world also that has allocated more than 25% of the total area for wildlife and other resource conservation. There is a number of investment opportunity which I've already mentioned by the previous speaker, but I will just pinpoint few. We have opportunity for the tourist hotel, golf courses, beach tourism, culture and historical sites, but also leisure park, conference facilities, air ground, tour operator, trophy hunting, and photographic. So we welcome investors to come and invest in tourism, and we'll be happy to assist in understanding the key incentives which we offer in this sector. Talking about the tourism, then I will look on the forest reserve which we have. And we have a Tanzania Forest Service Agency, which is mandated to manage this national forest reserve and the natural forest reserve, which we have. As you can see, we also have 6 cultural and heritage sites. So we welcome investors to invest in ecotourism. It seems that there is a potential in that area at the moment. The number of tourists in the natural reserve is increasing at the rate of 70% per annum since 2015, though the area are not well developed. So we really need investors in this area. And the implementing authority, the TFS, have set aside the number of natural forest reserves, which there are some areas for investment specifically on the eco-lodges and tented camp. So we welcome investors to come and invest in the area which I'm going to mention. There are some areas which have been set aside for the natural forest reserve. As you can see, there is a Mani Natural Forest Reserve, known as the home of Africa violent flowers, but also there are Magamba Natural Forest Reserve, known as a place of the sight and scene. But also we have Lake Duluti Forest Reserve, known as the paradise of the reptile and birds, and we have Mount Rungwe Natural Forest Reserve, known as the crater lake in the shape of African continent. And the last is the Kalambo Natural Forest Reserve. And maybe to put emphasis that the government is have given notice last year to allow investment in the natural reserve, and this is good news for investors in the tourism sector. We also have investment opportunity in mangrove areas, whereby we have a long mangrove along the Indian Ocean, about 80 kilometers long. So we invite investors also to come. There's a lot of beach canals in the delta, and this is mostly in the southeast of Tanzania. So we welcome investors also to invest in this area. There is a potential for construction of the boardwalks, swimming, lodges, and tented camps. This is also attraction which you all know that facilitate investors also to come this side, is an attraction which an added advantage. So we have Mount Kilimanjaro, Ngorongoro Crater, Serengeti National Park. And based on the previous presenter, they've mentioned a number of projects that Tanzania need investors. So we